Welcome to Legendary Impact Live, where top marketing minds and local business owners across the U.S. share their stories and strategies for attracting high-value consumers. Ready to have the spotlight on your brand? Here's your host, Meg. Let's dive in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the latest episode of Legendary Impact Live. Today, I'm here with my very own health coach, Lauren Carpenter of Lauren Carpenter Wellness. I'm so excited to share her with you. She's so knowledgeable and just a fantastic overall human being.
Thanks, Meg.
So thanks for joining me today, Coach Lowe. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm so great. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here today with you and just pumped to walk through some of the great things that you're doing to support your lifestyle. And we can, brainstorm together some great things to be doing over the holidays. So I'm just happy to be here with you.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And let's start by telling everyone a little bit about your business and your background and your passion for health and wellness.
Absolutely. Well, first off, so I'm Coach Lowe, they call me, and I have a business called the Lauren Carpenter Wellness, and I have created a 4-month health coaching program where I teach women how to become the CEO of their health. So through fitness, nutrition, and mindset, I help every athlete create the structure and the routine that they need to achieve their health goals.
I love it. And the structure is huge because it's hard to balance. I mean, I'm always like a little bit behind in the program. You're so gracious and kind and supportive. And I truly appreciate that because life happens. You've got work travel and holidays coming up and all the things and kids.
Family responsibilities. Yes.
Yeah.
It is about balance, right?
Yeah. And building in things that are easy to do, but also have a high impact, which something I've learned a lot about from you is the protein intake, right? Just ways to make that easier because you need it to build muscle. And I had some bone health issues, which I already had a lot of success with. So for those of you out there that might be struggling with low bone density, when I started working with Coach Lowe and also a fitness coach in the area, Reba, who we love, I had osteoporosis. And I was doing some other things too, but a big impact to it has been increasing that protein intake because, we have to have that for bone health, but also to build muscle, which I need more of. So that's been huge for me. And I thank you for it because, that whole,
I'm really proud of your progress.
How do you get that much protein? Yeah. Thank you. It's nice to be able to see it. I was just telling you this morning, even, I can see in the mirror more muscle and, just differences to my body composition already, which we first connected over the summer and I implemented a lot of your, practices for that protein intake then. Yeah. And I've been able to stick with it. So just a few months really, has had a big impact. Yeah. So what inspired you originally to start your business in health and wellness coaching?
Yeah. So I think my coaching business was really created out of my own health challenges and needing to find solutions. So I personally have always been an athlete, but I think there were certainly areas in my life that weren't the healthiest. I had debilitating stomach issues from childhood into adulthood, probably, undiagnosed IBS combined with stress. I had a not positive mindset around the idea of staying fit, and it was eat less and do more cardio, which we know now is not the healthy way to achieve your goals. I wasn't good to my body with sleep. I really kind of felt validated or felt proud of myself for how little of sleep I could function on. And, after several children and a job and turning 40, you realize that you have to have sleep. And then the last piece was nutrition. And so I was a terrible cook. I don't know, like many of you, I wasn't interested as a child learning how to cook. And so understanding the foods that are going to better serve my body was a big missing piece. And so I think when I started having kids and then when COVID hit, I just decided that I needed to make a change. And so I quit my job. I stayed home with my kids. I focused on finding solutions to my health challenges. So finding new doctors, a therapist, diving into books and more research and cooking again. Really helped evolve my health. And then I decided that this was just something I couldn't turn away from. So I jumped into a sports nutrition program to better understand how to fuel my body. And then when all of these pieces started to work for me, I realized that other women like me would benefit from something like this. And so I created the Confidence Collective alongside my own work, and have just really, really enjoyed seeing women make such improvements on their health and wellness. And it's been a blast. And I just feel privileged to work with women in this way.
Yeah. And it's such a nice group of women, like the group that I'm in, you know, it's nice to know there's other people thinking about the same things that you are. And actually I made a soup yesterday. I need to send it to the group because the kids gobbled it up. And it was just a simple chicken and potato and vegetable soup. And they were like, they couldn't get it up.
Love it.
So yeah. And I was very happy with how it fit into my macros.
Go Meg.
In the app. So yeah, it's interesting. Macros is a different way because I too was very, you just grow up in our generation thinking cardio is important and, eating healthfully, but not consuming as much. And now that we're working it from a macro perspective, it's like, I can't eat enough.
I know. There's so many benefits from eating more. We as women have to kind of reset our metabolism. And so by combining with a specific fitness program, which we can talk about, but really increasing your protein and complex carbohydrate intake helps you build muscle, helps establish a more leveled blood sugar level, will help spike your metabolism, can change your body composition. I mean, there's so many great things when in the past, we have all been looking at calories, but that's not really where you need to be focused. It's what, double clicking down and how many protein, grams of protein are you getting a day to make sure that you're hitting your goals. So I love that you have jumped in and started to understand the formula and how to help increase your strength, increase your bone density. I mean, you're doing things to support yourself for years to come. So that's really cool.
And everything works better. I get better sleep. And last time we talked, I was like going to sleep too early. And so I was waking up too early. And so I did make an adjustment there. I'm trying to make myself stay up like a normal person until like 10 o'clock. So I did that last night and then I slept well and I woke up at a normal time and then I had the energy to go work out. And so, it's just little life hacks like that I'm picking up from your program too, which are important.
Yeah, and they're important. We call those biofeedback markers. And it's things like your sleep and your stress level and your digestion. It matters. It all plays a part in your health and the longevity of your health. And so really paying attention to that can have drastic improvements.
Yeah. And the focus on the whole food nutrition is huge, which I, studying that years ago was very, enlightening just because of celiac. So as a person with celiac, you learn a lot about whole foods versus processed foods. So extending that into the focus of macros and tracking your macronutrients has been so enlightening and helpful. And the other thing that I like about your program is you do a good job, and I'd like you to dive into this a little bit, but you do a good job of building the knowledge over time and keeping people engaged, because it's easy to lose people to life. Because they get distracted and they fall behind. So talk a little bit about how the program is designed in that way, because I think for those of us that are busy, that will be helpful to learn about.
Absolutely. So that's a great question. And I think it's important first and foremost for clients to understand where they are. And so I encourage them for a week or two before the program starts to track just what are they eating from day to day, and pay attention to how much you're consuming in those different macros, the protein, carbohydrates, and fats. And I think where people are surprised is that, one, they're not eating enough. Two, they're probably eating too much fat, and probably have more processed food than they want. So you mentioned the whole food piece and how important that is. And I encourage clients to eat about 80% of their foods come from whole foods. And then 20%, we gotta live our life, right? So it's not going to be perfect, but something to aim for. So I kind of build from there. So after they get to understand themselves, then I implement a few strategies. One, we have something called Design Your Plate, where you learn how to create a plate for every meal. And that includes a lean protein, a complex carb, and a vegetable. And by designing your plate that way every day, you're going to get closer to your goals without even tracking, because you know that you're getting the right foods generally. And from there, we start to measure out what is the appropriate amount for your meal. So a man is going to look very different than a woman where we're starting. But generally, we're all going to build throughout, again, we didn't share this, but my program is 16 weeks. And so the first 8 weeks is about learning habits, building up our macros, building muscle. And so over time, I slowly increase your protein intake, your carbohydrate intake, and you start to have incredible energy. You can work out harder. Your sleep is better. Those first 8 weeks, people are just almost like euphoric that, wow, I really don't have to restrict myself this much, that I get to eat all these delicious foods that are good for me. And then I kind of dive in a little bit more with exact measurements of how many macros you have. And then we align a fitness strategy with this nutrition. So I fully believe in strength training, specifically in a progressive overload format where you're increasing in weight or reps week over week so that we know that you're building muscle every week. And by increasing those macronutrients, you're able to build more muscle. And so your body just starts to get to kind of a happier place because you're fueling, you're moving, and then we integrate some mindset stuff along the way.
Yeah. And it keeps it so interesting. And I love the combination and the realization of just that increase in intake for food, because we always feel so limited and confused about, what to eat and when to eat. And I swear, you guys, when you start a program like this, hopefully with Coach Lowe, you will be like completely surprised about how little you're actually eating and how much more you need to eat. That's like the biggest challenge. And that's a good
women,
challenge.
Right? Coming in your 30s, 40s and beyond, and with hormonal changes, depriving yourself from calories throughout the month. Obviously, things change throughout the month for us, and you have to address what your body needs. And by depriving yourself, you're kind of putting yourself at a hindrance of hitting your goals. So I try to change this mindset around food, that this is an opportunity to fuel our bodies, not something to feel guilty about.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And you offer a lot of content to like via Instagram, things like that. So tell us a little bit about, how you provide value to folks, regardless of if they're in the program yet.
Yeah. So I like to use Instagram as an introduction to who I am and to what the program is. And so often I'll sit down and plan out a month, but a lot of times as I'm working with clients, I get ideas that, oh, wow, they have this question or they have this issue. And so I'm able to kind of develop ways to share this on Instagram that I know is relatable to my clients and probably a lot of other women similar to them.
Yeah. And you guys will see her website in this video description. So if you're watching this live or later, you can go to the website and then click through and get to her Instagram, where she has a lot of great content and educational material, which is fantastic. And then let's dive in. We're in a very unique time of year to be working on our health because We're right in the middle of the holidays. You provided some great guidance to our group about Thanksgiving and, just enjoying the holiday. Like, don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. But review some of that because we still have Christmas and, the
Right.
entire holiday season ahead of us. Tell us what your, recommendations are for people
Sure.
that are worried about that and kind of stressing out.
Yeah. Well, first, I think that you're in the program at the perfect time of the year because now you have a plan going into the holidays. You can still have fun. You can still enjoy delicious drinks and wonderful meals, but also be able to go in with some moderation and a plan. And that's what I really encourage my clients is we sit down once a week and we look at the week and what events we have going on and plan around that. So I know that a Thursday night Christmas dinner with my girlfriends, that's something I'm not going to miss and I'm not going to not enjoy. And then a luncheon over the weekend with my family and extended family. And so again, something I'm going to make sure that I enjoy, but the rest of the week, I'm going to stick to my plan. And that's what I think in general, 80% of the time you are working towards your goals and 20% of the time you're enjoying life. So a couple of things that I just in general during the holidays, number one, you can always hydrate. You should be hitting or consuming at least 80 to 100 calorie or 100 ounces of water at a girl, especially in Colorado. It's really important.
Yeah.
But making sure that you are staying hydrated. It'll help if you are going out one night and having some cocktails. It helps you recover from a workout. It's really important that you stay on top of it. I say that you should have about 30 ounces before 8 a.m. You want to start early. If you're getting up early and working out, you want to start early. Sleep is also an important piece. When you are out late at night having a great time, you're going to be behind on sleep. And that has repercussions, days later of feeling tired and low energy. So being on top of your sleep 80% of the time will serve your body. Staying on that protein. Every day, you want to try to hit your body weight in grams of protein. So if you have a really fun event one night, you're throughout the day making sure that each meal you're hitting the protein that you need to have. One, that will set you up for success. Two, it does kind of curb your cravings when you have that high of carbohydrate or high of proteins. Do you agree that you've experienced that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yesterday I did the cassava bone broth combo shake.
Had a girl. How was it?
It was good, but I was so not hungry for like a good while after that. I was trying to add more. Yeah. Yeah. It definitely kept me full. And today I split it because I did the cassava in the morning, then the workout, and then the bone broth to hit the after burn protein or whatever. So yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. I think the last piece is just make sure that you stay moving. You should always be moving your body. Even if you have, family in town and you're not able to go to the gym, like make it a priority to get outside and go on a walk with your family. Maybe you have a outdoor football game, touch football game with your family. We love to be outside. We have plans over Christmas for a big kickball with, 30 of my cousins and aunts and uncles. So we're making sure that moving our body is just a part of our everyday life. And if you can get in those strength workouts, even better.
Yeah. And finding stuff to do as a family, I think is huge. My 11-year-old and I went and tried a pickleball lesson.
I love it.
It was so funny. We were terrible, but we had so much fun being terrible. So we're going to keep doing it. And I do not understand
to get your kid out and involved in what you're doing, right? And making it fun. And it kind of shows them how to live their life going forward, right? That getting outside and movement is just a part of our lifestyle.
Especially winter, because if you're not doing like a winter sport, it can be harder to be outside. And so, having, finding some indoor things was kind of a goal for me for us to do things together. Now that she's 11, we can do things very, together as far as like sports and stuff like that. So anyway, so she's excited about that. So that's our new little winter activity this year.
That's great.
Yeah. And then, so tell us a little bit about, we dived into the first part of the program a little bit bit more than the second part, which I have
Right.
yet to experience because I kind of did a restart for the first part of the program.
Perfect timing.
And the second part's a lot different. So yeah, dive into that a little bit.
Yeah. So in the second part, or the second half of my program, we focus on, in the first half, we have built a lot of muscle. We have built routines, we have built the structure, and now we're putting it to use. And so we modify our macronutrients, and I increase your protein, and we kind of bring your carbs down a little bit. And you stay focused on 3 to 4 strength workouts. And, I encourage one conditioning workout that could be your favorite HIIT class. That could be riding your bike or your Peloton. That could be skiing up a mountain instead of down a mountain. And all the outdoor Colorado things you could do. And then with that, we start to kind of decrease your macronutrients just a little bit so that you're finding yourself in a little bit of a deficit. And when you do that for 6 to 10 weeks, you start to experience about 0.5 pound to 1 pound of fat loss a week. And it can have significant changes on your body composition. And I think it's really important that we have this first portion, the first half, I call our build phase, because we're setting up these important routines and a new lifestyle, and building that muscle and increasing your metabolism, because I don't want you to have to go into a calorie deficit at like 1,200 calories. That is not going to sustain you, right? And so we spike your metabolism so that you can, generally you're still at like 1,700 calories, right? That's probably more than most women are eating every day. And you are in a calorie deficit, and you are still thriving. You have really high energy. And so I just love that last half and what women get to experience. We also start to talk about intermittent fasting during that time and how you can align that with your cycle. So women shouldn't be fasting all 30 days of the month because our body needs different things. But there are certain days throughout the month where you might be able to have a 16-hour fast. Now, I think that in my program, I really encourage strength training and making sure that you have the fuel you need over fasting. But it's another tool in your toolbox that you can use to help achieve your goals.
Yeah. And I want to point out that the calorie deficit or the carbohydrate reduction could be alarming to people listening, but
I'm always gentle in
the macros that you have us consuming during the build phase are so high that
it's hard.
It's hard to get to them. So when you reduce them, it isn't that you're reducing them from a normal diet level. You're reducing it from this increased level. So it isn't something to be scared of.
It isn't shocking. It's more food, like I said, more food than most women are eating currently.
Yes.
Which I love.
Which I absolutely can testify to. My experience in the program. I'm eating way more now than I was before, it's having those positive effects on my energy, my mental capacity and clarity. I don't feel like I need a nap in the afternoon.
And you shouldn't. I love to hear that. That's great, Meg.
Yeah. So I definitely think, there's so much to learn from you, and this program, it delivers it in a way that we can apply it and digest it even as these busy parents and women.
And I think that's the most important part, is that I have clients with really big jobs that have multiple children that have a lot of responsibilities, and they figure out, with the support of my structure and the routines, how to make it work, because we identify what is the biggest bang of your buck for your buck. And then that's the priority that you're going to be focusing on. So I think it's, that is the biggest piece of that is working with people who are really busy, but know how to fit it in.
Yeah. Well, and learn how to fit it in. Cause I certainly haven't mastered it yet. And I'm, picking it up and learning, what I can implement. And that protein increase was probably the thing I was most scared of, but you make it easy and you give us good, clean sources of protein to leverage. And it hasn't been as hard as I thought.
Oh, I love to hear that. It shouldn't be hard. I like to say that this is the college course that you never got, but always wanted. And so at the beginning, when you're learning the new concepts and the routines, it does take a little bit more time. But halfway through, by the end, it becomes a new lifestyle. And so we've removed all of the thought that has to go into it, and it's just turnkey, which I love. And I know that many of you guys appreciate.
Yeah. Well, and it helps reframe, because I always, felt like, increasing protein and building muscle wasn't for me. You know what I mean? I felt like it was for like teenage boys that were trying to get into whatever sport, or these actors who are, getting ready for their superhero role, where you see them massively increase their muscle and then they go back to being normal people. So I really always felt like you couldn't do it unless you were, this person that could focus full time on that endeavor. And so meeting you and learning from you has educated me that I too can, increase protein intake and do it while maintaining my work and parenting and life balance. And so that was very, very helpful. And I think, for anyone out there that's looking for that support, Coach Lowe's your gal. She's got it. She's got the knowledge of the program. And so tell us a little bit about, so we're in the middle, or we're what, week 3, 4 in
week 4.
Current offering. Yeah. And then you're going to kick off another one. When does that one start? Like, if people want to learn about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a group entry about twice every 2 months. And so my next group will start at the beginning of January, which is a great time for many people who are, thinking about dipping their toes in. But that new year is just a great time to kind of reset, start to learn something new, and make some habit changes. And so I have both. We didn't get to mention this, but I have my female focus group, which is called the Confidence Collective. And a really cool thing is I started with women, and in this program, their husbands and their partners start to see the impact of the program, and they asked, like, I want in. And so since then, I have created a men's program called Dialed Health. And so often I'll have couples who want to do it together, because when you have an accountability buddy, you are significantly more likely to find success. And so when your household jumps in, it can be easier to make these lifestyle changes, routines, meal planning, thinking about working out. When you're all on board, it is easier. So I've had some really fun couples do it together and had success. And so that has been really great. And so I will have both my Dialed Health and Confidence Collective starting again in January. And I usually kind of take the month before to open the doors for people to ask questions if they want to learn more about the program. I always am willing to set up a call to share more and to kind of learn if this is a good fit for that person.
Perfect. And then what's the best way for them to get in touch with you if they're interested in learning more about that next offering and want to get in touch this month? Because it is a good time to start talking about it now.
I love
Even if it doesn't start until then.
Yes. Yeah, you could start now. We can get you rolling. So I have an Instagram page. It is Hello Lolo Health. So definitely follow me there. My website is laurencarpenterwellness.com. And from there, you can get my contact information or send a message via the website.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, any last minute, tidbits, tips, tricks? We talked about the holidays, maintaining, your protein. And also, if someone's not yet in the program and they're just curious about what their macros should be, that's something you could engage with them on, or maybe you provide a resource for that.
Right. So in 2025, I plan to have a month-to-month membership available for clients who have already completed the 4-month program. So that's much more of we call this maintenance phase, where you will do a 1 month check-in once a month, and then I'll have guest speakers come in and talk on topics like meditation and hormones and sleep and kind of diving into the macros. So it's going to be a really cool membership that I'm excited about. So stay tuned for that.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Yeah. I'm so excited to share you with everyone. I hope that folks, found this interesting and, get in touch with Coach Lowe if you have any questions about what we talked about today. And if you're looking for a resource, she's great.
Girl. Meg, thanks for having me. I'm so excited we get to have another touch point with the program here in a couple hours. So I get to see you soon.
Excellent. All right. Well, thanks again for joining me, and I will talk to you in a few.
Okay. Thanks, Meg.
Thanks for listening to Legendary Impact. If you're a marketing expert, brand power player, or local business owner ready to share your expertise, visit Local Legend Media's website and click the More tab at the top and then podcast to get featured. Let's put your brand in the spotlight. See you next episode.